Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome everybody to our first meeting of 2025. Roll call, please.
Groats.
Present.
Bowman.
Here.
Ott.
Here.
Sykes.
Here.
Obermeyer.
Present. Okay, open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers, in the hallway outside of our chambers, and also on our website. Proof of publication was in the newspaper January 2nd and also published on our website. Next up, we need to review and approve the minutes of our December 23rd Board of Commissioner meeting, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Groats.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, and we also need to adopt the agenda today.
I move to adopt the agenda for today.
Thank you, Jack.
Second it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Groats.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, officials forum.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Harv.
Morning, Hardy.
I don't have much to report other than we're hauling a little rock in because things are getting a little chilly and the gravel would be freezing into the trucks worse. So for a little bit, we're gonna haul some rock in. Other than that, we're just keeping busy, working on little things. So that's kind of our report at this point in time. The bridge on Road M, the concrete is poured, the rail is up, it has been heated. I don't know when they are going to open that up. Last time I looked, they still had all the covering on the concrete so it could cure out correctly. But it is coming along. And that's about all I have this morning.
How did we go out, I assume, a little bit yesterday?
Yeah, they went out and knocked a few back. There was some spots where it drifted fairly well across some of the roads, but not horrible. I mean, we was able to get through everything, or the people were before. Yeah, just spotty, so.
A little easier to cut our teeth on this one than the last one last year, and
Exactly.
so get ready
I
to
like
go.
this much better than what we could have had.
Sounds good, Harv. Anybody else? Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Any other officials this morning?
Gary Olson, County Attorney, and this is just to give a little briefing that in the grant world, that we're probably 2 weeks away from being actually on the agenda and having a presentation as far as where we sit with those 3 grants. There's been a lot of headway. There has also been a number of agencies that have been pretty much shut down for the last 2 weeks. And so is making the detailed progress that we would, like to announce. We just quite aren't there yet, but we are getting close. So in 2 weeks, hopefully, we have a solid plan that we can present.
Okay,
Any questions?
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
You bet.
Any other officials that want to speak at this time? Public forum. Anybody from the public can get up at this time if they would like and come forward and speak. Morning, Willard.
But you know who I am, but I still have to introduce myself, right?
Rules are just fun.
Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13, York, Nebraska. I'm a proud resident of Bradshaw. Ask the Postal Service why I have to say York. I've been listening kind of accidentally, or mostly if you watch any news, you can't help but hear it, local news, talking about interviewing all of our illustrious state senators down in Lincoln and about how they're starting their session and how they're going to do all this really good stuff. from what I can tell, from what I've heard, you guys better start thinking once more about how to do more with less, and the legislature will not take any responsibility for it.
Thank you, Willard. Anybody else from the public at this time? Okay, we'll continue to move down the agenda. There's no reason for an executive session that I'm aware of, nor general assistance cases, vendor claims. Everybody have an opportunity to look through them. There wasn't a lot, but a couple questions. I think they were answered. Anybody have any others?
I think all of my questions were answered prior.
Okay. You guys okay?
Move to approve the vendor claims and payroll.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Groats,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, next up, discuss an act on reappointing Harvey Keim as Highway Superintendent. I assume that you still want to be the Highway Superintendent.
Sure,
Sure,
I would still do that for you
I
guys,
appreciate it.
if you will have me.
It's an every year thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
David, that door, unfortunately, that door's got to remain open, just because of that open policy. They talking too loud for you out there?
A little bit.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll listen to one.
Okay, go ahead. Anything else, gentlemen?
I'll move to approve Harvey Keim as our highway superintendent for the next coming year.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Groats,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Art.
Continue to do my job.
Okay, discuss and act on EB grant. Tristan will come forward for $84,000 for juvenile diversion.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Just got a couple, just a little snapshot of, you'd like to pass that around. And so,
Same as what you'd sent out.
yes,
And
same as what I sent out, just, a little pointer on the important pages instead of the whole 24 pages. And so, Tristan Perry, diversion coordinator, and this is just, like we discussed last meeting, this is just looking at the second Crime Commission application, which is their EB application. It's applying for the funds that weren't used up for the first application from other counties, and it's a competitive grant that we will be trying to just do like usual, get personal wages and fringe benefits for the two positions that have been around for the last year and a half, 2 years. So,
Any questions for Tristan on this? Like I say, this is the application,
yep.
and usually it's springish
Yeah.
when they decide this one too.
Right, last
Seems
year was a
like.
little longer than the previous years, but they seem to be no later than, I wanna say like end of February, so March.
Okay.
So, yeah. Then need to accept whatever awards they give us, and it's, the application's due this Friday, and
Yeah, they extended that by a
yeah.
day. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve the EB grant for $84,000 for juvenile diversion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Yes.
Groats, Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, next up, discuss an act on improvement grant for Henderson Heritage. Morning, ladies.
Morning. I am gonna pass this out. This is the same information you got from the packet, but there is 2 new pictures at the back. See what kind of the inside layout's gonna look like, and then the progress that they have made on the building itself.
And we would ask that,
I'm Suzanne Ratzliff, and I'm the chairman of the Henderson Heritage Park.
And I'm Alex Sadoff, York County Visitors Bureau.
thank you. Project, just give an overview and of the project, and then obviously the visitors committee did meet on it, and just an overview of that meeting too, if you would.
So I will let Suzanne give an
Okay.
overview of the project.
We've known that we needed this building for, I would say, probably the last 10, 12 years. And it is to encourage year-round tourism to the Heritage Park. We're hoping this will increase bus tours coming into the community, coming into the county, spending the night, eating dinner, you name it. So we're hoping for that. The building can, I think you can see on there, it can seat a little over 100 people. So it'll be good also for family gatherings, class reunions. As a matter of fact, we just booked our first event. I got a call yesterday from the class of 1958, and they have booked it for July 21st, 2026. So we know it'll be done by 2026.
Okay.
But we're on our second phase. We set it up in phases with the amount of money that's brought in through donations. And we had $320,000 before Christmas. And so our phase is just, we need doors on it, and phase 2 is done. And then as the money comes in, we will complete the building.
Okay.
All right, so we had our meeting on December 18th, and with the Shannon Seaver abstained from our vote, but it was a unanimous decision to offer, to grant $177,000 to this project. In York County, we don't have a ton of meeting spaces that meet up to 100 people. So I think that that would be a valuable addition to our communities.
Okay.
Anything else?
York County, you talked about it as a whole. For instance, just in Henderson alone, is there any other place in Henderson that holds that type of people? Say outside the churches?
Okay, yeah, outside the churches, we do have the new restaurant downtown, the Hatchery, and it's 3 separate rooms. Altogether, you could get that many,
Okay.
but we had a chamber banquet there, and I think there were about 80 people. And it was tight, but that fit in. So the community needs this.
So it'd be
size
like a
of
one of a kind for Henderson then?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And then you said it was unanimous to give them what they asked for. And then according to this, then does that kind of complete the funding?
It will
Model?
complete the funding of the building itself, but we still need tables, chairs, technology, speakers, screens, things like that, so. and we're-
Fundraising still goes on
Yeah,
then?
yeah, yes.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Now, was there any conversation, I know in the past when we've done larger sum amounts, was there any conversation about the timing of the payments? Was the board recommending a one-time payment or dividing it between 2? How was the board, did they talk about that at all?
They did not have an opinion on whether if we paid it at once or multiple payments. I think they thought that if they had those receipts that needed to be refunded, that we could pay all that money at once. But obviously, like, we have a 12-month payout due to this type of grant.
And then on the improvement side of your money, off the top of the head, and I could probably dig through here, but where is that fund sitting, do you know?
About $465,000.
Thank you. Any questions, gentlemen, from either?
No.
Either one?
No, I guess I have one comment, yeah. This would be a very good addition to the Henderson community. Having hosted meetings in Henderson in a prior life, there isn't a quality space for open type meetings. Yeah, you're pretty much limited to the school if you want over 100 people. that's not always available, so I think this would be a great addition to the community.
I think it's always interesting, as I used to serve on the Visitors Bureau, when you put in the stat sheet of where everybody comes from. A lot of people come through there from across the country.
Yes.
You know, so it's kind
It
of cool.
surprises us too sometimes. That's why we
Yeah.
like to go through the whole year and catch every town and every state and,
Anyone else?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The point of these funds are for projects like this. It is a fairly significant sum that's being asked for. Do we as a board, I know that like when we did for the playground out here, it was I think it was just slightly more than this, and we kind of staggered that on a few different, maybe 2 or 3 different
It was
payments.
$100,000.
Okay.
It was, yeah, over time.
Just so that we don't limit ourselves on what we can do. I mean, we do have a 465 is a fairly good amount in that. I'm just wondering if it would be smart to, at least break it into 2. If they have receipts for, let's say, 100,000 now, we could cover that and then put the next amount onto next year. I don't know if anybody has thoughts on that.
Could you, Alex, do we have any projects on the horizon?
So we have the Levitt Stadium box,
Right.
which is $80,000. They have sent in their first half of payments, I think.
Okay.
Or the first 20 grand, I think. And then this would be our other open project.
Okay. So, as far as receipts go, as far as funding for the project, is all 177,000 required, say, tomorrow or through the pay period that this comes? Or if, as Daniel's saying, would 100 work now and then July 1 we could do 71 or 77? Is that, not to put you in a pinch whatsoever, but just a question?
since we didn't have 100% okay on this, that you guys do the final okay, we have phase 2 complete. And then if we receive it, we'll go into phase 3.
Okay.
And then we should be able to finish the building.
Okay. Answer your question? Gentlemen, you guys? Good?
Move to approve the improvement grant for Henderson Heritage.
You want a
One-time payment.
one-time payment? Okay,
Second.
thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Groves,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Alex, if you want to stick around too,
Yes.
don't please. Thank you. Okay, that is pretty much to the end of the agenda. We will have committee reports yet. I don't know if have too much to report over the last 2
Right.
weeks. If anybody does, Leroy, Jack, you got anything over the last 2 weeks? Other than
No, I
holidays.
just wanted to say thank you to Alexis. She sent me a message putting me on the list. Thank you for that.
Sorry about
But-
that.
Well, it was a little late for me to make that last meeting, so. But thank you anyway. And now I'm off.
Leroy, you got anything?
No.
Guys?
Had a couple really good meetings, different various grant meetings in the last couple weeks, so that is moving along very nicely. Looking forward to even running a little harder once we get into this new year and
Okay.
get people back from Christmas breaks and vacations. So,
Daniel?
Nothing in the last 2 weeks. We meet YCDC exec board tomorrow.
Okay. The new year will bring a lot of new things. one thing that wasn't new for us was the cold and the icy and slick, and I think we've talked about this before, but when we're sitting at home watching the news and it's cold and icy and slick, we have people that are working. And I want to thank those people, Harvey's bunch, and obviously Paul's bunch and the call center. They have to take care of people when maybe they shouldn't be out on the road, but we sure want to appreciate the fact that they are out there helping us out. The other announcement that I have to make today is this is Jack's last meeting with us after 3 terms. And we want to appreciate that he's helped us out over the last 12 years. I do have a cup for you, Jack, that we'll get you once we all get up. But I know the board has changed a lot over the last year. It's went in this is the start of my 11th year, and it's went from me being a rookie to now all of a sudden when you step down, I got the top seat. And that happened in 10 short years, but appreciate it over the last 12 years, Jack. Really
Thank
do.
you.
Do you have anything to say?
I would like to say something. Yes. I have a couple of things. One, it's been a privilege to sit up here, and I know that we are elected by the people, but we're not elected for our own opinions all the way. We have to look at the whole county to see what they want, not what we personally want. And I've tried to do that. I would like to read this short paragraph. It's called the American's Creed. I think probably most of you have heard this. I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed. A democracy and a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity for each American patriot, sacrificed their lives and fortunes. Therefore, I believe it's my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I'm not talking about people who go to school board meetings. And if you've been listening to the news just recently, on his way out, our president released 11 detainees from Cuba into the United States. These people were involved in criminal acts against this country, and he released them into this country, along with a lot of other people who escaped the southern border. And I think it's time that we have a change, and I can thank God that we're going to have some change. And when Joe come to ask me if I thought he could do this job, I think that young blood is an important thing to have different ideas, and I think he's the person. I'm glad to see him elected. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Jack. There will be, obviously, as we continue to go on the year, the next meeting, we'll end up talking about the windows upstairs a little bit, and we'll talk about the fire suppression from Davis Beacon and stuff like that. So that will be, I think, by the time we reorganize and get going on the next meeting, we will have that to do also. I did forget, I see Brian standing out there, so I did forget Brian. He's down here Sunday scooping my walks, and he's over here scooping too, so I hate to forget him also. I asked all the department head elected officials to come. This isn't an agenda item. This is more of a consensus. With the passing of our former president, Thursday was made to be a national holiday. And it states in our handbook that by that statute, we follow state statute, and we follow what is done as far as national holiday. State follows it, and we follow it too. There has been several questions being asked by counties across the board what's everybody doing? And, you know, are we shutting down? Some are shutting down, some aren't shutting down. Some have it in their handbook, some don't have it in the handbook. What I would like to pitch, to talk about, to get a consensus on, is using that holiday as a floating holiday. Leaving the courthouse open Thursday, and then giving all the help a floating holiday that they can use throughout this year. It has to be used by the end of the year, and then see what everybody feels like. It's really got to be a consensus. It doesn't necessarily state, it states in our handbook that we'll follow it. It doesn't give much direction. And with the new handbook coming, I think this is an item that we can talk about and get more direction in case this happens again, which it probably will at some point in time. So at this time, I'm asking the elected officials that have employees, I'm asking others, what's your opinion? Is that a bad idea? Do you want Thursday off? We'll shut the building. My idea is building remains open because most people are still going to be out and about doing their business. And then you can, and I've talked to Cheryl about it in payroll. She said setting it up on the MIP system is not a problem. We'll set it up and then department heads will just have to track it. So there it is.
One thing that Cheryl brought up that I didn't think about was if it's in our handbook as a holiday, that would mean holiday pay. Or time and a half if people worked on the holiday. So if it's considered a holiday, she was gonna look into it. If it's considered a holiday by proclamation and we work, do we have to pay time and a half for holiday pay?
Okay.
That was only mine. You know, Daniel and I and Cheryl talked about that yesterday. I think she was gonna look into it, find out if, since it is in our handbook as we shall, so if we do work it, do they get holiday pay or do we just, or not holiday pay, but time and a half if they work it?
Kurt?
So it would be Thursday, employees would be paid time and a half that.
We don't know yet.
Don't.
For non-exempt, that's what it says in the handbook.
Plus the floating holiday or just?
But I think the floating holiday
Would be
in place of the time and a half.
the time and a
The
half.
question that Cheryl raised was, offering the floating holiday waive the requirement to pay time and a half?
Okay.
That's the only thing I know.
Okay. Harv?
I think it would be cleaner if you just was closed on the 9th because it's a federal holiday. You don't have to worry about who's taking what time on when for the floating holiday. And everybody would know just exactly where we are. That would be my opinion.
Okay. Go ahead.
I can say from the county court, since we are state, the Supreme Court has declared it a non-judiciary holiday. So the court, me and one of my staff will be here regardless whether the courthouse closes down or not, because we have to be accessible to help the public or whatever that looks like. As of right now, we do have some hearings scheduled, so based upon what is decided in regards to the courthouse, we'll then take whether or not we have court or what that looks like for that day. But in regards to county court, myself and my assistant will be here regardless whether the building is open to the public or not.
And as district court, we would follow the same guidelines under the judicial branch. So it's a judicial day, so we have to be here. We did have one case scheduled for that day and it's gone away, but we still fall under the same guidelines, so we're expected to operate our office.
And by state statute, the swear-in day for our two newly elected officials is that day. Now, I did check with NACO on that. We can do it that day. We can do it the next day. We just can't do it the day before. By state statute, we can't go ahead of it. So it would be my guess that we would go ahead and do it that day anyway. And since I believe, Joe, you're probably back on Christmas break yet from school, and we would just do it and be here for that small part.
I'd like to add, for the state, at least for county, we do get the floating holiday that we use up within the year. So we're here Thursday, but we do get a floating holiday that we can pick any other time to use, so.
Is the state paying you time and a half for?
No.
So that answers that
The
question.
floating holiday is,
I didn't figure.
Anybody else? Nick, Brian?
They don't matter to me. Geneva did the same thing, so we're working Thursday down in Geneva. So, but they also moved their county board meeting to Thursday from today to Thursday.
Did they do a floating holiday then to do that, Nick? Did they? Okay.
So, yep, and they're doing the oath and everything on Thursday, and just working as an oath day.
Okay. Gary?
I agree with Harvey. I think it would be cleaner from that standpoint, from a managerial standpoint. But with the courts situation, where we do have court, I would advocate having the floating holiday. And so I'm on the fence. Practically speaking, what Harvey says makes perfect sense. With the courts, however, it does change where my office's approach is. From right now, we do have court, so we'll probably be here anyway.
So then the email that I seen from the state said if we lock our courthouse, which we can, then there would have to be a note on the door and somebody's gonna have to go down and let them in. As you can understand, you know, the security reason to, without the offices being open, not to have people walking around the courthouse. So would that be able to, you have more people to take care of that day? Or do we, you know, as far as the door,
I would probably be the one going to the door.
up and down, or just staying down there with the chair?
You know,
Okay.
we don't have much scheduled in county. It's juvenile day. So I believe we have 3 or 4 hearings and then a pending adoption. So it's not a full day of court. But whatever you guys decide, whether or not you close the building or what, will obviously affect what happens with court hearings and that kind of thing. So I'm just waiting to hear from you guys what you want to do, so I can let my judge know.
Kurt, you got an opinion, one way or the other?
Do I have it? I mean, I'll probably be in that day anyways, 'cause I got plenty to do, but as long as we're making it right, if we do a floating holiday, making it right by our employees that way. I see both sides of it from a managerial standpoint, keeping track of everyone's floating holiday. Kind of hard to only have 3, but for a guy like Harv that's got a lot more employees in the sheriff's department, it's a lot to keep track of, but I see the court side too. So, you guys got a tough decision to make up there today.
Megan?
I just had a question. So do we all have to decide what day the floating holiday will be, or it will be just per office?
Yeah, it'd be per employee.
Per employee?
Per employee. They would have one extra holiday that they could use anytime this year.
So if they're gonna go on vacation and they want to use one of those days as a holiday, we can do that.
Right. Right. It'd be that way.
But like if we all decided, like if my entire office decided that, like Friday, I think our Christmas, this coming Christmas will be Wednesday and Thursday, hypothetically. Thursday for sure. If we wanted to all use it and be closed on Friday, that Friday.
As an elected official, you can shut your office down, you know.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah. Yes. That would be an answer.
Is DMV open, Megan, on Thursdays since they're a state?
They're closed.
They're closed.
Gentlemen up here.
I think floating the
Opinions?
holiday, and if they want to use Thursday as that day, they can be off on Thursday.
Right.
If Harvey wants to come, they can all stay home. You come, they can all stay home that way. Court makes everything different. It really does. Because the building will have to be open.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
I know, but
They follow us. They're an invited guest. Right? Yes, the owl is on. Daniel, Andy?
I like the floating holiday. Outside of government, the rest of the world, it's a normal business day, in my opinion. Or if I do get tracking an additional day, but to me, it's really nothing more than an additional 8 hours of vacation for your employees, so how does it really matter a lot?
It's Ashley's problem anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, because for me as an employee, if I was an employee of the county, I would like to use that. Everyone came into work planning to work a full week this week, and then just because of the government issued an order to change someone's plans. I mean, some people, it's not going to be a benefit to have Thursday off. They probably are paying for daycare regardless. And so having a floating holiday that they can plan accordingly to use, I think would be more beneficial in the big grand scheme of things for most of our employees. So that's my 2 cents.
Daniel?
I am a fan of floating holidays. I think it works. Used it in the past, and I think it would fit for this type of a situation. It is a normal business day to most of the world, and we are accountable to our taxpayers if they want to come in and do business. That way, Christmas, everybody knows they can't come in to do business, but on the 9th of January, it's not a day that typically you can't go into town and do your business, so I think it would work fine.
Jack?
Make the floating holiday your birthday. That way the department heads can keep track of when these people are gonna be taking their holiday.
Any other elected officials, any other comments?
I say stay open.
Kind of a consensus would be that we would stay open and grant a floating holiday that day, or for that day. We will check the legalities of what has to be paid, as far as that is concerned. I did have a call on the 24th of December when we shut down for the day. There was a young man that had checked our website, and he was coming to get his driver's license that day. And when he come up to the door was locked. So he got the hard life lesson of very, very excited to, his dad called and said, "Why is the doors locked?" Well, it's a holiday, so that happens. We do that, but I do like the idea of the courthouse being open. Like Daniel said, that we have people that want to do things, and it's in their plan, and if it's here. And to me also, if I had an extra holiday trying to think of the employee thing, I think I'd just soon take it when it was nice and warm versus when it was, cold and first part of January, so on a Thursday. Kind of consensus would be then that we would stay open that day, and we would offer the floating holiday to our employees to use up till 2025, or throughout the 2025 year. Okay. We do have to conduct our quarterly jail visits. Does anybody else have anything else regarding?
Do we want to come up with a time for swear-in of the officials and?
What works, guys? Joe? 9? 8:30?
Yeah, that works fine.
Either one?
Sure.
He might be more of an early morning person. You tell me. 9?
Yeah, that's fine.
9 o'clock. Thursday morning.
Here? In this room.
Our clerk is going to do it.
Very good.
She's going to practice up.
Yeah, I gotta practice that. So I don't fumble in my word. I don't know how you do it, Allison.
She'll be here if you need some help.
Yeah.
Now that she doesn't have to wash the door, she'll.
Well, I've said it twice, so.
Okay, anybody have anything else? Okay, Jack, before we get going. I'm done, unless you want to hang around for this. Thanks, guys, for showing up.
Yeah.
Jack Sykes. Thanks for your service, York County Commissioner. Now, this may be off by just a couple days, because it actually says 2013 to 2024, and I know you worked one day in 2025. Thanks for what you've done. We got the seal on the outside.
Start drinking coffee again.
Yeah, you can, sure. Or whatever else.
Or whatever.
Sure.
Thank you.
You bet, Jack. Okay, we will recess at this time. We'll go do our jail visit, and then we'll be back. I don't know that Jack wants to go on this jail visit. We do have a couple cookies. Jack didn't want a cookie, but if anybody else wants a cookie, Mary, you want to?
Yep, I'll go get 'em.
Opted.